Here are the instructions for your midterm assignment. I've got a finished file open here, and I'll use this to talk around what's required. And I think I'll start just by playing a movie and demonstrating the finished product. So I'm just going to come up here and click Test Movie. And that should pop open in the browser here. And there we have it. I'm just using the standard size. If you want to use a larger size, by all means. And we start on this home page, which is in pause mode, if you will, with your first and last name in the center of the page and 4 buttons at the top. 4 color-coded buttons. This is the button for the home screen, and then there's 3 separate elements that you're going to create that will be on separate keyframes inside of movie clips on the main timeline. So let's just click on this yellow button to start. And it's an animation of 2 sticks walking across the screen, and right behind it we're using an animated mask to reveal the word hello. If I go back to the home page and launch that again. So 2 simple rectangles, but animated like legs, walking across the screen, and right behind them is an animated mask revealing the word hello. Okay, so that's our first one. The second one is a little simple clock where the small hand actually rotates faster than the large hand, and we have start and stop features for both of these dials. So if I stop the yellow one, it stops. If I stop the blue one with this red button here, it stops as well. And then we have our start buttons on this side. So you can start and stop both of these separately. Okay, and that's the second element. Again, that will be contained in a movie clip. And the third and final element is an animated character, which I will provide the body parts for, if you will, and you'll rig it up and give me dancing along with some music. Okay, so I'm going to click on that one here. And just let it loop. You'll hear the looping because the sound will stop momentarily here. And speaking of the sound stopping, you will have to take that into consideration when you're leaving this particular screen to go to one of these other buttons. You're going to have to put the sound stop command in manually. I will show you that in this demonstration. So if I go back here, you notice the sound got killed immediately. Okay. So no matter where I go, when I leave that red button area with the animated character, the sound should stop as well. Okay, so let's just bounce back to the file. And it's a basic setup on our Scene 1 timeline. I've got 4 keyframes where I'm holding different content. So this is the home page, and I have a layer for my labels. So I've got frame labels, home, hello, clock, and robot. I've got a layer for my buttons down here, and you can see they're all selected at the top. Do create color-coded buttons and have a rollover feature on each. Could be a color change. I've got a layer for my actions at the very top, and I'll talk about that in a second, and then a layer for our content on the very bottom with keyframes that align with the keyframes for the frame labels. So the first page is simple. It's just a text element as your content. The second element, though, again, in a movie clip, it's an animated element. If I double click on that movie clip, it's an animated element nested, as you can see, and an animated mask. Okay, you'll have to figure out how to do that one. The clock, same idea. It's a movie clip, right, with the image of a clock inside. If I double click that, you can see that I've got an actions layer, a layer for those buttons, a layer for this nested movie clip with the animated elements inside of it. This layer actually doesn't need to be there, so we'll get rid of that. Okay, and then the final element, the robot. Again, in a movie clip, and you can see with the green line, it's an armature that got created. This rigged up using bones. I'll remind you to find your bones. If the bone tool is not there, click on the 3 dots and drag it from this selected group into the tool palette. Okay, and then you'll rig up the bones accordingly. I would recommend, and I'm going to go to my preferences here. Go to your edit preferences. And once preferences pops up, go down to drawing. Now your preferences on the PC may be under the edit menu. If you wish to use the method where you preset your center points with the transform tool, then you should make sure your IK bone tool properties auto set is turned off. Okay, it's how I like to work. I like to set my center points. That's the axis that will be applied when you drag the bone over each one of those symbols. In this case, each of these are already symbols. They're graphic symbols. Okay, now a little thing I want to show you here is make a second layer for the audio, right? In that first frame, create a keyframe and use the following code. This will trigger the music. Otherwise, it may not play automatically. Just, you can go to your user, your wizard, and just hit play this timeline like this. Next, with this frame. I'm not going to click that because I've already done so. And then in frame 2, establish your song, and I can provide this to you, or you can use your own 10-second clip and put that in that frame and set it to event is fine. Okay, now let's go back out to the main timeline, and I'm just going to show you the code to use to turn off the sound. It's something we did last semester. I'm just going to show it to you. You're going to have to put it in by hand. All right, when you're creating your links, your navigation, here is the code right here. create.js.sound.stop empty brackets semicolon. All right, again, create.js.sound.stop empty brackets semicolon. You'll have to type that in by hand and just insert it inside of the functions after the go to and stop commands. Okay, and put it on each button that leads away from the little dancing robot. Once you've completed this file, hand it on Canvas and check with me that I've received it before you leave the class. And that is our midterm assignment for Web 4.